Okay, continuing in chapter 2, Constantine's role in church-state union. In the 3rd century, Constantine had a vision that led to a supposed conversion. According to historical accounts, specifically those of the Christian historian Eusebius, we'll go with that, Constantine had a vision before the battle of the Milvian Bridge in 312 AD. In this vision, he saw a cross of light in the sky along with the... I'm sorry, this still makes me laugh every time I read about this. In the vision, he saw a cross of light in the sky along with the Greek words something, which translated to "in this sign conquer," or "by this sign conquer." This vision is said to have prompted Constantine to adopt the Christian cross as a symbol for his army, leading to his victory in the battle. This led to a significant change, as the Christian church was now officially sanctioned and was able to come out of hiding. Constantine ended the persecution and made Christianity a version of it, the official religion of the day. This new situation, where some in the church enjoyed political favor, was dangerous for true believers who would suffer at the hands of those who were politically favored. This period corresponds to the 3rd letter to the 7 churches, the letter to the church of Pergamos, where we find reference to the doctrine of Balaam and the doctrine of the Nicolaitans in Revelation 2:14-15. Jesus addressed the church in Pergamos, saying, "But I have a few things against you, because you have there those who hold the doctrine of Balaam, who taught Balak to put a stumbling block before the children of Israel, to eat things sacrificed to idols, and to commit sexual immorality. Thus you also have those who hold the doctrine of the Nicolaitans, which thing I hate." Pergamos means mixed marriage, referring to the marriage of the church to the state. In Revelation 2:14-15, Jesus condemns the church for holding the doctrine of Balaam and the doctrine of the Nicolaitans. Firstly, the deeds of the Nicolaitans, which were present in the early church, have now become an official doctrine. This doctrine aims to conquer the laity and is grouped with the idea of Balaam. Balaam, as described in Numbers, was a prophet, but not from the tribes of Israel. He was an outsider and an enemy of the children of Israel. King Balak hired Balaam to curse Israel, believing that these curses would have supernatural power to defeat them. Numbers 22-24. God intervened and would not allow Balaam to curse Israel. Despite Balaam's willingness to work for hire and his interest in money, God spoke through him, delivering genuine prophecies about Israel's destiny and the coming of Christ. Numbers 24:17. However, God also rebuked Balaam through a donkey, demonstrating that he could use any means to speak. Numbers 22:28-30. When Balaam could not curse Israel, he advised Balak on how to weaken Israel by leading them into sin. He taught Balak to cast a stumbling block before the children of Israel, causing them to eat things sacrificed to idols and commit fornication. Numbers 31:16 and Revelation 2:14. Most traditional teachers say that this refers to sexual sin and immorality. However, Balaam's teaching had a strategic goal. The surrounding camps were the Moabites, who were descendants of Lot by an incestuous affair with his daughters, Genesis 19:30-38. But they were related to the tribes as part of Abraham's household. God had told the Israelites that they were not to intermarry with other people who were not part of their tribes, Deuteronomy 7:3-4. This was crucial because the allotments of land represent the inheritance of the tribes, which eventually become the manifestation of the kingdom on earth and are tied directly to the salvation that Christ secured and his people were to inherit. In the Old Testament, Satan was always trying to dilute the bloodline, either with the Nephilim before the flood, Genesis 6, 1 through 4, who incidentally populated the good land and were there when Israel was brought near to enter into the inheritance God had set apart from them, or with the nations. The goal was to thwart the manifestation of the kingdom by bringing its constituents into judgment. Balaam might have said to the Israelites, "These Moabites are your family. There's no reason to be at odds. You should be at peace with them." Sound familiar? Balaam told Balak to have his most beautiful women invite the Israelites to love feasts to seduce them. The Israelites left the camp and joined themselves with these women, intermarrying with them. This was not just about sexual immorality. It was a much deeper plot. Through this intermarriage, the inheritance and the kingdom were threatened, and the children of Israel were also brought into Baal worship. Numbers 25, 1 through 3. Jesus refers to this pattern when addressing the church in Pergamos. He warns them against holding the doctrine of Balaam. What is the doctrine of Balaam? At its root, it is to encourage peace with God's enemies. It is to teach love and tolerance and even encourage intermingling with people that we should mark and avoid. Amen. In Pergamos, this teaching has become an official doctrine similar to the deeds of the Nicolaitans, which Jesus also hates. In 2 Peter 2:15 through 16, Peter describes false prophets who follow the way of Balaam, who loved the wages of unrighteousness, but he was rebuked for his iniquity. A dumb donkey speaking with a man's voice restrained the madness of the prophet. These false prophets are willing to pretend to speak for the Lord, but are motivated by unrighteous gain. They cannot openly curse God's people, so they use more subtle methods to lead them astray. Balaam and these false prophets hate God's people and are willing to work for a wage, not only supported by the saints, but also hired by God's enemies. They introduce teachings that lead believers into weakness and compromise. 2 Peter 2:11 through 16. Whereas angels, which were greater in power and might, bring not railing accusations against them before the Lord, but these as natural brute beasts made to be taken and destroyed, speak evil of the things that they understand not, and shall utterly perish in their own corruption, and shall receive the reward of unrighteousness, as they that count it pleasure to riot in the daytime. Spots they are, and blemishes, sporting themselves with their own deceivings, while they feast with you, having eyes full of adultery, and that cannot cease from sin, beguiling unstable souls, a heart that has exercised with covetous practices, cursed children, which have forsaken the right way and are going astray, are gone astray, following the way of Balaam, the son of Bozar, who loved the wages of unrighteousness, but was rebuked for his iniquity. The dumb ass, speaking with man's voice, forbade the madness of the prophet. Paul warned about these Balaamites, describing them as spots and blemishes, sporting themselves with their own deceivings, while feasting with the saints. Jude refers to them as well. They were known especially for bringing railing accusations against saints, using smooth words and speeches to bring accusations against the doctrine of Christ and teach saints to reject it. They were said to have taken the way of Balaam. Balaam accepts payment from God's adversaries while feigning feigning loyalty to his people, secretly wishing for their demise. It was exactly this sort of person that was ripe for Constantine's use to gain control over the churches to produce his peace. That just reminds me of something else, but I'm just going to leave it alone because I don't want it. I'll get tons and tons of comments on it, and I don't feel like arguing. So, amen.